Hello, welcome to Featherwood Farm. This is Darcy, and today I wanted to do a more in-depth walkthrough of the Daydream Garden. So right now we're in the front entry to our home. I just pulled out the plastic edging that I did have here and I replaced it with some black steel edging. Just got everything mulched in, and eventually this pathway is going to be swapped out for something else, let's just say that. So this area is mostly shady. It gets a little bit of evening sun. So there's a lot of native asters, of which the name I cannot recall. I'll put the names on the screens as I find them. I have some astilbes, maidenhair ferns, a bunch of hostas, sun king aurelia. These are a bugbane and a Black Hills Beauty, another type of bugbane. I have a couple of native geraniums, only two that survived my chickens scratching through here from last year. I got a couple of Stonehenge Druid yews to put up here, so when all of these woodland plants kind of die down in the winter, I'm going to have some evergreen visual interest. This is a tiny tough stuff hydrangea. I have 4 of them and none of them are doing particularly great. They look better than they did last year. Like, they're putting on new growth, but they're so tiny. I mean, you would not guess that that is a shrub. This is a Mount Airy Fothergilla. It's a native shrub, I think native to slightly more southern areas, but it's super pretty, has great foliage and beautiful flowers. I have a lot of tufted hair grass throughout this whole garden. This is a little quickfire hydrangea. In the back there are 2 goat's beards, which are one of my absolute favorite. I have 2 more in our backyard as well. Underneath that is a Sun King Aurelia. I don't think I realized that the goat's beard were where they were when I put the Sun King Aurelia in, so I should probably kind of move that out right here a bit. In the front of this bed, I have 4 Lil Diddy viburnums that have started producing their what will be flower clusters, and then they'll get berries. Oh, see, right here is another one of those tough stuff hydrangeas. In the back there is a blue woodland phlox in full bloom. Looks gorgeous. I got those as plugs a couple years ago. And a few more carex and sedges. Here's a lavender twist, weeping redbud, starting to leaf out and lose her blooms. These are a native allium. They're a nodding onion, they're called, so they'll get little pink blooms that do exactly what it sounds like. They kind of droop, they nod. And I have some ferns. I know that these are a Japanese painted fern. I have 3 of those. White feathers hosta, ivory prince hellebore, some more native asters, and another Sun King Aurelia, which are pretty shade tolerant, and it's a great pop of chartreuse foliage color to have in a dark kind of corner, which this definitely is right here. These are 3 Kodiak Black Deer Villa. Those are honeysuckle bushes, a native cultivar, and they get little yellow flowers. They should be fairly soon, actually. The pollinators really like them. Thinking I should get another one to fill out this corner. Need to pop over to the nursery to do that. And coming around, all of these shrubs were purchased last year. So this is a limelight hydrangea, quite large already. I think I got that in a 2-gallon. And then the 5 Haas Halo along the front of the house there that I got in quart size that are doing absolutely wonderful. More of that tufted hair grass. And these are Astrantia, just starting to get their blooms. It's either Abbey Road or Burgundy Manor. I have both, and I won't know until they bloom which are which. They're a really underused plant, I think. They're quite beautiful. The flowers are. They look really lovely. They bloom fairly early in the season. They hold for a long time, and they dry well. And behind are some Max Vogel anemones or windflowers, and those will bloom in the fall. I have some green mountain boxwood throughout. A couple of heucheras that were really nibbled on a lot last year by either the deer or the rabbits, I'm not sure. But they're rebounding. They're trying. Some sedum. And right here, another one of those tough stuff hydrangeas. I'll give them another year. I'll see how they do this year, and before I decide whether to keep them or kick them out. And more Astrantias. And I have 4 of these low-scape mound Aronias, which are a native cultivar. This is the straight native species of Tiarella cordifolia. Spring blooming ground cover. They're super beautiful. And I kind of have those throughout. Hopefully they'll start spreading and kind of take up this corner in the spring. Snowdrift rose. And a bunch of hostas are kind of peppered in throughout. These are the ones that I got on clearance last year for $1 at the end of the season from Lowe's. I think I got 18 of them. Here's the Arctic Fire Dogwood. And 2 more of the Low-Scape series. I can't remember the particular variety of the Aronia. One of 3 English golden columnar yews. A Limetta hydrangea. And I have a few ajuga that are just starting to produce their little purple blooms. I have high hopes for these ajuga. I really want them to flourish and start spreading, fill out this corner, and eventually I'll divide them. Cool Splash Deer Villa honeysuckle, the Diane witch hazel, columbine, more tufted hairgrass. And I have a lot of Rudbeckia through here. I don't recall the varieties of these. I've had them for a few years and they've just kind of moved around the garden. But these 4 back here I grew from seed, and these are a Goldstrom variety. There's another limelight hydrangea, a red Japanese maple. That's literally all the tag said. I do not know an actual variety name. And then I have a couple of Bobo hydrangeas right here. Some Hacknacloa grass, which I really hope grows up. It looks pretty insignificant right now. And these are apricot foxglove. I have 5 of them in here. I grew those from seed as well. It's a variegated miscanthus grass. And my favorite tree of all, the Golden Shadows pagoda dogwood. I have 2 Dark Side of the Moon astilbes. In this planter is a jade butterfly ginkgo, which I'm pretty excited to see grow up. I have 3 flora plana, I think that's how you pronounce it, Philippendulas, lemony lace elderberry. This is a little quickfire hydrangea, some cerise queen yarrow that I grew from seed last year, and another cool splash honeysuckle. Moving around. This is my Emily Bronte David Austin rose. That was my introduction to roses. Absolutely beautiful. I have some Sanguisorba kind of in the back of this area of what will be the bordering what will be the picket fence, and in front of that are some daisies. Sanguisorbas are one of my favorite. They're gonna grow these tall, kind of garnet colored, ruby colored bottle brush flowers on these tall spikes above kind of the foliage mound. And I have a few more Rudbeckia, a variety of which are unknown. 3 chocolate Eupatorium rugosums, which keep a really dark foliage and a white flower later in the season. So those will contrast really nicely against the lemony lace elderberry. These are a drumstick allium, which are probably my favorite allium, and a firelight hydrangea. Tiny Wine 9-bark, which I got last year, and it was probably only a foot tall, and it has put on at least 2 foot of growth. And it's gonna get little pink blooms that are starting. And beside that are 2 more cerise queen yarrows grown from seed last year. I got these 3 dianthus on clearance. I really like dianthus. I don't know how they will do, but it was a good price, so we'll try them out. These are, I believe, Six Hills Giant Nepeta, and I had 2 plants, and I split one of them into 2 this year. I did it too late in the season, so it took a hot second for them to rebound. That one's doing better than this one, but they're a really tough plant, so I'm not too worried. But you can see why they needed to be split. This is the one that I did not divide, and it is just kind of a bowl. It's a hollow center there. So we will do that either in the fall or early next spring. More tufted hairgrass, more of those drumstick alliums, which as I was kind of rearranging this bed, I kept accidentally unearthing more of those alliums. I have 5 White Wands Veronica in front of these Black Hills Bugbane, and a David Austin Eustace V, not sure how to pronounce that, rose, and some Midnight Masquerade penstemon, Celestial Night Rose, more drumstick alliums, and this is a Calamagrostis brachytricha, could be pronouncing that incorrectly, grass. That one can tolerate full sun or part sun conditions. I have 3 ruby eupatoriums, which are just the latest thing ever to emerge. I always get worried about them every year. I mean, we're end of May, late May, and that's all I've got so far. 3 phlox. I think they are Pinkadot. And some more of those Midnight Masquerade penstemon. I put in a few Pandora poppies that I grew from seed that almost didn't make it. They dried up. Little Angel Sanguisorba, which is kind of a dwarf variegated variety of the taller Sanguisorba I have in the back, mixed in with some echinaceas, which I think are Echinacea magnus, if I recall. So I kind of designed this to be a little footpath that I can walk through that'll take me out to the main path. And then the picket fence will run right here, and there'll be a gate, and then run across here, and then, and then from that post, come in the front to the corner of the house there. And right here, I'm hoping there will be another arch or gate or something to walk through. So there it all is so far. Thank you for joining me today on the tour through the Daydream Garden. And I hope your gardens are looking lovely as well.